Truth Seekers, Zach here. 223rd post. Because it's the 223rd post, which is the number 322, an infamous number made famous by Yale Skull and Bones, I just want to talk about it a little bit. So the number 223 in Jewish gematria sums to the word Masonic, and if you watch my videos, of course you know I talk a lot about the Freemasons and their Masonic principles. In the course of my blog, I've shown just how much of this world is connected through these people and how much encoding they've done, from television to music to movies. You see on this list, the second name here is Beatles, arguably the best-selling band of all time. They released their first album in history on March 22nd, 322. Look at what Beatles is in Jewish gematria. And when you really think about it, Truth Seeker, why is the band named the Beatles? What do people associate Beatles with? How did these four gentlemen become the best-selling rock band of all time? Up here with Masonic, you notice the simple gematria of 74 and the English gematria of 444. Remember, you just multiply this by 6 to get to this. Think about the word rock. The word rock is 47. I'll just type it in right here so you can see real quick for yourself. Whoops, give me rock and roll. That's not what I wanted. Rock, 47. The flip of that, 74. Alright, so just a little introduction there. Also with regards to number 223, I wanted to point out that in simple English gematria, the synagogue of Satan sums to 223. And in Revelation, something we're going to talk about in this post, it references the synagogue of Satan in Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9. And when you think about 3:9, you might think of the number 39 and the number of books in the Old Testament. Who goes by the Old Testament Truth Seeker? Look at some of these other words that match up with this synagogue of Satan. Swastika. None of this is an accident. Fibonacci curves. Well thought out, Truth Seeker. And some of you ask me, why do I think they do this? I think it's all just coding. I don't know what it does to us subconsciously. Look at the word the word we type in almost every sentence. In Jewish gematria, it equals 113, and in simple English gematria, it equals 33. This is evidence of how well thought out the alphabetic order is and what types of systems it's incorporating, Truth Seeker. These numbers 98, 89, we've seen them in the Michael Brown shooting, which is coming straight from the book of Revelation with all the coding. Remember, that date was August 9th, combination of these numbers right here. Alright, so what I want to talk about today is the shooting of Ezell Ford. Let's watch this CNN news footage before I speak about it and just see how they're paralleling this to Michael Brown.
To grapple with the shooting death of Michael Brown by a police officer, another family and community is mourning a similar loss of yet another unarmed young black man.
We've had our own Michael Brown. Ezell Ford, gunned down right here.
My son was a good kid.
Neighbors say 25-year-old Ezell Ford was well known in the South Los Angeles community.
Everybody in the neighborhood took care of Ezell Ford.
An undercurrent of police mistrust has boiled over here before, the LA riots in 1992. Some residents are again on edge.
They're in fear of the police department.
It was just after 8 p.m. on August 11th when two officers from the Los Angeles Police Department confronted Ford as he was walking in his neighborhood. Police say Ford made, quote, suspicious movements, end quote, and looked like he was trying to conceal his hands before allegedly grabbing one of the officers.
A violent altercation ensued where the suspect actually attempted to grab the officer's gun.
Police say Ford and the officer fell to the ground in the struggle before both the officer and his partner fired their weapons at Ford. Ford would later die at the hospital. But Ashanti Harris, who allegedly witnessed the situation unfold from his apartment, saw things differently.
The police jumped out on him with the guns drawn out. He put his hands up. They wrestled him down to the ground. One shot went off, and then 2 seconds went by, and another shot went off. And then the other officer told him to shoot him again. Another officer, and he shot him again in the back while he was on the ground. He couldn't fight back. Two big cops are on top of him. They let Ezell die.
Now, more than 2 weeks after the shooting, the LAPD has named the officers, 12-year police veteran Charlton Wampler and Antonio Villegas, on the force for 8 years. In the days since Ford's death, the community has organized marches to protest police brutality.
How do you explain when you have this level of death?
Did you guys notice they were at the 77th Street headquarters? This man right here, Ofari, this is a name with 49 gematria. We're going to get more into it. Remember, 49 is the number of revelation. That's going to be big in this.
Force against those that are not even accused of committing a crime and are not even armed.
But LAPD says the community should not rush to judgment as the investigation is ongoing.
It's important to us that we be transparent, that we be open, that we demonstrate as much as we can in terms of the viability of the investigation, because the public's trust is at the forefront.
Justice.
Yes.
Justice for
Yes.
Ezell.
We just want some kind of justice.
Some kind of justice and answers.
All we want to know is why you do it.
Several people in the neighborhood say Ford had a mental disability, but the lawyer for the family refuses to clarify if this is true. That lawyer, who also represented Rodney King, says he plans to file a federal wrongful death lawsuit against the LAPD on behalf of the Fords. Stephanie Elam, CNN, Los Angeles.
15 minutes could save you 15% more.
All right, Truth Seeker. Did you hear that? Same lawyer who represented Rodney King, which happened on March 3rd, 3-3, a significant number in the Michael Brown shooting, and now a significant number in the Ezell Ford shooting. So let's get into it. The shooting occurred on August 11th, 2014. This is the day that Robin Williams is said to have died. It's also a day with 33 numerology. 8 plus 11 plus 14 equals 33. The shooting was done by LAPD, Police Department, with the acronym that sums to 33, just like the word police. Why? Because they are all ran by the Freemasons. They are all Masonic. The Freemasons believe in conquering through duality and order through chaos. The police department helps bring about that in cities all across this nation and world. Okay, so now let's recall that the name Michael comes from Revelation in the Bible. And look at this down here. Look at the lettering from Michael. M's the 13th letter. 1 plus 3 becomes 4. I's the 9th letter. So M-I is 4-9. Just like what Revelation sums to. Here's the gematria for Revelation. Of course, Michael Brown's no indictment decision for Darren Wilson came on a date with 33 numerology, November 24th, 2014. 11 plus 24 plus 14 equals 49. It came after 96-day deliberation. The word Freemason equals 96. Look at the name Ezell Ford in Pythagorean gematria. It sums to 49. We just heard on the news how they're tying this to Michael Brown. Now we see in numbers how it's tied to Michael Brown. Of course, this number goes to Revelation, which has much to do with the apocalypse, as theorized. Look at the name Ezell Ford and how well that matches with apocalypse in Jewish gematria. And notice that the word apocalypse in simple English gematria sums to 113, just like Canfield Green Apartments, where Michael Brown was shot in front of. Just like where DeAndre Joshua was found in front of. DeAndre Joshua is a 3374 name. Just like Jesus' cross and the age he was crucified at. You see how all these numbers go back to the Bible, Truth Seeker. And I could be wrong about this, but my opinion is that the Bible was written and created by these same people who now their ancestors are carrying out their same deeds against us. Saying this is all part of a long-going script, all part of a plan. That's why the Gutenberg Bible was first published on 3/22/1455. Gutenberg Bible sums to 66. Published on 3/22. Remember, we started with that number. This is the 223rd episode. All right, so hopefully we got these connections between Ezell Ford and Michael Brown. We could go even deeper and look at the police officer names, the other names, and the guests. We'd find more of the same numbers, Truth Seeker. I do that in a lot of posts, so I'm just going to skip through that in this one and just show you some of the other connections. Check this out. For those of you who watch the other YouTube channel, The Black Child, his most recent video is about this death of this 4-year-old Jayden Morrison. It's another story they're running with recently. Let's look at the details in it and see how it connects. And if you take the time to watch his video, which I have linked here in this blog post, you can watch it right here. You can watch the news footage for this, and you can see just what this crisis acting looks like. Or more of it, for those of you who've seen enough. All right, so the 4-year-old boy who died is named Jayden Morrison. And remember, this number 4 we find so often in these suspicious death stories. Philip Seymour Hoffman died on the 4th floor with 44 bags of heroin on the 33rd day of the year, the day the Super Bowl was played, February 2nd, 2014. And then Robin Williams died on a date with 33 numerology. So common, Truth Seeker. Even when we're talking about non-celebrities, such as this 4-year-old boy, Jayden Morrison. So look at the Pythagorean gematria of the name Morrison, 49. In simple English gematria, this sums to 121. This is alarming because this is exactly like the word revelation, 121 and 49. And with regards to 121, True Seeker, I've really been zeroing in on 49 in the upcoming Super Bowl in the Hoover Dam. A new video just went up on the web this week about an attack on the Hoover Dam, and they're predicting it's going to happen January 21st. And, you know, that's curious. Maybe that's worth checking out. They're basing their prediction off something they saw in The Simpsons. It should be noted that Simpsons sums to 33 in gematria. And they have made successful predictions about events in the past. So keep your eye on January 21st. That is in close proximity to the Super Bowl. Maybe this person's found something, and it does make sense. It fits in. Anyhow, moving on. This story of the 4-year-old boy, it takes place in a place called Horry County. Horry is just like Arizona in gematria. With Pythagorean gematria, Arizona sums to 39, just like the word Horry. With simple English gematria, Horry sums to 84, just like Arizona. And remember, United States of America sums to 84 with Pythagorean gematria, this method. And I think Arizona is a prototype state for their larger plans for the nation. They experiment in Arizona, and then they go national. That's why they're so goofy with their police departments and so much more. They're the only state that doesn't participate in daylight savings time. That's actually something I like about Arizona. Anyhow, here's the police for this incident and the coroner. Both people with 33 names. Robert. Of course, there are many Roberts in the world, but Robert is a 33 name. We see a lot of it on TV. The name Robert Edge with simple English gematria sums to 99, like 3 times 33. The police officer spokesperson is named Raul Dennis with just one N, a curious spelling. Why? Because with this spelling, it sums to 33. And look at the name Raul Dennis, 49. Just over and over, Truth Seeker. Here, let's close a little bit by just watching some of this news footage from this story we just talked about, just so you can see this father who supposedly just lost his 4-year-old son, and you can listen to what he has to say, and you can ask yourself, especially those of you who are fathers, just me, just from working with kids and developing relationships and having nephews and nieces, I can imagine that if any of these children that I've known died in such a circumstance, I would feel so much more sad as I expressed it than even this father expresses it about his own child. So let's check it out real quick.
30. First in high definition. Live local plate breaking. This is WMBF News Today.
It just talked about HD. I want to point out, Truth Seeker, that H is the 8th letter and D is the 4th. So when we watch things in HD, we watch them in 84, which you might want to call United States of America vision, a filtered vision, something we refer to as the American dream. And think about why we call it a dream. Why do we call it a dream, Truth Seeker?
At 6:30.
Every hour, the search becomes more desperate with a 4-year-old child missing this morning in Little River. The more time that goes by, the more people are joining that search.
Jayden's mother told me she will not return to New York until she finds Jayden, but she thanks the volunteers for their helping in bringing her son home.
So thankful that so many people are out here where they don't have to be helping to look for my baby.
Update now in the search for a missing 4-year-old boy with autism.
True Seeker, I just want to point out that her name summed to 66 in Pythagorean gematria. 66.
From our area, the young boy from White Plains disappeared Christmas Eve in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, while visiting family.
Look at the time and temperature.
Today, they found his body. Eyewitness News reporter Dre Clark in White Plains with more on this story. Dre.
Good evening, Dave. The family's home here in White Plains is dark and quiet this morning as family members are all in South Carolina mourning little Jayden's death. There was a rescue medic who found Jayden in that pond earlier this morning. Family members say they knew Jayden was a wanderer. Well, unfortunately, on Wednesday, he slipped away from his grandmother, and that would be the last day anyone would see him alive. It wasn't the ending that so many people had hoped and prayed for. 4-year-old Jayden Morrison, a little boy with autism, had been missing for almost 2 days near his grandmother's home in South Carolina. This morning, he was found in a pond lifeless. Days of searching and suffering, reaching a painful conclusion.
Saw an object in the pond, and it turned out to be missing Jayden. Unfortunately, it appears to be a drowning at this
Did you catch that? This is Raul Dennis with the 1 N.
point.
Investigators believe he wandered away from the home and walked straight to the water where he was found dead.
Especially when you have twins, and to lose one of them in such a traumatic and terrific situation. My heart goes out to the family.
And you heard that neighbor mention that Jayden had a twin brother. I contacted authorities in South Carolina this afternoon, and they confirmed for me that Jayden was, in fact, a twin. So as the family is mourning his loss, at some point in time, someone will have to explain to Jayden's brother why he will never see Jayden again.
That's interesting. He's a twin. I also just want to go back and show you this witness name. Let's do the Pythagorean gematria together. For Lero, 3, 4, 13, 22, 28, 33, True Seeker. L's 3, A's 1, R's 9, R's 9, O's 6, W's 5. This name sums to 33. Chris, with the S exception, sums to 39. So often we find 39 and 33 paired together. The news anchor who was just presenting the story also had a name that summed to 39. It's just through and through, True Seeker. We haven't even reached the dad yet, which is what I want to show you. This guy's name is 39 right here.
Again, we're live in White Plains. Dre Clark, Channel 7. Hi.
My heart kept leading back to the water elements not because of the water, it's because of the edges of the water, the leaves, the mud. And that day, his sensories was probably on overdrive because it was raining. And being that he's sheltered, he doesn't really get to experience nature in its full force with rain, snow, and so forth on his face, because he probably was grabbing at it and enjoying the sprinkles of rain, or the showers of rain, and grab the elements. That's how I was able to see his trail from him grabbing at the ground. He might have saw his mother go, and because he's not really, was not really fully tuned into his environment at that point, probably tried to go after her. Probably realized she was gone already, and then the elements probably made him say, "Oh wow, playground, this is my toy." One of my belief is he was over there playing with the elements and probably just simply lost his footing. And because of the slipperiness and so forth, he just couldn't, turn around and in the cold of the weather, could turn around and retrieve himself, because he would have.
All right, True Seeker, we watched enough. This is the Black Masonic video, The Autistic Son by the Black Child. If you want to watch the rest of that, you can watch it on YouTube or right through my blog. Anyway, True Seeker, I just want to show you how they keep calling these numbers. So, keep your eyes peeled. I think around Super Bowl 49, we're in for something. The rate that they're coding this number, how often it's showing up, it's really ongoing. I've been doing this for over a year, and it seems like these numbers, they'll get hot and stay hot for a week, a couple weeks, this number has just been hot, and they just keep coding it. Also, a true secret, I should mention that last night I actually had somebody bring over a copy of the interview to watch. So I have now seen it. And you know who's a major focus in that movie is Katy Perry and her song Fireworks, or I think that's what it's called. I'm not a big Katy Perry fan, but they keep doing the song throughout the movie. Katy Perry is another one of these people with 49 name gematria. And she'll be performing at Super Bowl 49. So, you know, these stories are taking us somewhere. If it's not Super Bowl 49, it's something not far off. All right. Until next time, True Secret.